Stop scrolling, because this might be the most underrated way to get real 90s performance without paying modern sports car money. Today, we're talking about the 1990 to 1996 Nissan 300ZX, the Z32, the car that made people in the 90s look at Japan and say, okay, they're not playing. And here's the deal. If you've been hunting for an affordable classic car that feels legit fast, looks like it belongs in a poster, and still comes in as a classic car under $50K, the Z32 300ZX has to be on your list. Right up front, price. Most driver quality cars you'll actually see for sale today land somewhere around 15 to 30 grand, depending on condition and whether it's a twin turbo. Clean twin turbos can climb way beyond that, but we're focusing on the versions normal humans can realistically buy. Also, quick heads up, check the pinned comment. In the very first pinned comment on this video, you'll find a downloadable PDF dossier, a complete cheat sheet on what to look for, what to avoid, and which trims make the most sense. In this video, I'm going to give you a real classic car buyer guide style breakdown, what this car was trying to be, why it got expensive, what breaks, what costs real money, and whether it's actually a smart weekend toy or a sneaky classic car investment, or both. And if you're the type of guy who grew up watching 90s imports become legends, or you just want something that feels different from the usual American classic cars conversation, you're gonna love this one. The Z32 300ZX landed as a huge shift for Nissan. The earlier Z cars had their fans, but by the late 80s, Nissan wanted the Z badge to feel modern, premium, and seriously capable. So the Z32 came in swinging. In the US, it shows up for the 1990 model year with a 3.0-liter V6 making about 222 horsepower. Soon after, the twin-turbo version becomes the headline, factory rated at 300 horsepower and 283 pound-feet of torque. Huge numbers for the time. That kind of power in the early 90s put it in the same conversation as much more expensive performance cars. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about horsepower. Nissan built the Z32 like a high-tech sports coupe with comfort in mind. Motor Trend talks about how it brought sports car back into the Z conversation without giving up the creature comforts. You're not buying a stripped-out tin can here. It's more like a serious grand tour that can also throw hands in the corners. Now, why did it fade out in the US after 1996? A big reason was money. The car got expensive. Hemmings points out that the standard 300ZX coupe climbed from about $27,300 in 1990 to around $37,439 by 1996, and the twin-turbo went from roughly $33,000 in 1990 to about $43,979 by 1996. At that point, the Z32 wasn't competing with cheap fun, it was competing with cars like the Corvette on price. And when you're asking real people to spend near $40,000 to $50,000 in the mid-90s on a Nissan sports car, that's a tough sell, no matter how good it is. But here's why it matters now. The Z32 is old enough to be nostalgic, modern enough to drive like a real car, and rare enough in clean condition that good examples stand out, especially twin turbos. The market has basically separated into two worlds: driver quality cars you can enjoy, and collector-grade cars that bring serious money. And Nissan did a bunch of variants that matter for buyers. Two-seater coupes are the classic look. There's a 2+2 with small rear seats and a longer wheelbase. There's a convertible conversion done with ASC, cool, but only naturally aspirated in the US. And at the end, you get special Last 300 type cars, including commemorative editions with plaques and limited numbers. So yeah, this thing has real story, real substance, and real buyer decisions. Let's get practical. If you're shopping one of these, you care about three things. 1, which engine and trim. 2, what it costs to keep alive. And 3, what to check before you hand over money. Engines and trims that matter. Base naturally aspirated cars use the VG30DE, 222 horsepower. That's still quick. Car and Driver published 0 to 60 at about 6.7 seconds for a 1990 NA, and the car weighs in the low 3,300 pound range. That's not slow, and it feels even better because of the driving position and the way the cabin wraps around you. But the twin-turbo VG30DETT is the dream spec. Factory-rated 300 horsepower, 283 pound-feet, and it's the one most people think of when they picture the Z32. In the US, that's typically the T-top car, and it's also the one with the most complexity. Styling, why it still turns heads. Even today, the Z32 looks clean and purposeful. It's got that Aero 90s shape that doesn't scream for attention, but it looks expensive. Add the T-tops and it nails the period vibe. Motor Trend notes most coupes had removable T-tops, while a rare slick top exists, no glass panels. Slick tops are cool, but they're niche and not always easy to find. Interior-wise, it's very driver-focused. You sit low and everything is angled toward you. This is one of those cars where you feel like you're in it, not on it. What breaks? What gets expensive? Here's where the honest review kicks in. The Z32 can be a great car, but it's not forgiving if you buy a neglected one. Car and Driver calls out a few key realities. Timing belt service matters. Nissan recommended a timing belt around every 60,000 miles or 6 years. If you don't have proof it's been done, assume you're doing it. Turbo seals can start leaking around 60K to 80K miles. That's not an instant death sentence, but it's real money. Clutches can last a long time, but 30K to 50K miles is common depending on how it's driven. Super high-CAS rear-wheel steering. Some owners disable it to avoid maintenance costs, especially on earlier hydraulic systems. So what's the maintenance cost level in the US? I'd call it medium to high. Not because parts are impossible, but because labor and complexity can stack up fast, especially on twin turbos. What to look for when buying? If you want the smart buy checklist, it goes like this. 1. Service records. Timing belt proof is top priority. 2. Stock or lightly modified. Mods are common on these cars, but the more mods, the more unknowns. 3. Turbo health. Look for oil leaks, smoky behavior, weird boost, and sloppy maintenance. 4. ACAS status. If it's disabled, ask how and why. If it's active, make sure it works right. 5. Clean ownership story. Hemmings notes unaltered examples are harder to find now, and the clean ones bring premiums. Quick question. If you were shopping a Z32 today, would you rather have a clean, naturally aspirated car you can drive right now, or would you hold out and pay more for a twin turbo? Drop NA or TT in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what most of you would choose. All right, money talk, because this is where people either fall in love or back away slowly. First, pricing depends heavily on trim and condition. Car and Driver describes a split market. Non-turbo cars can still be found under 10K, but climb toward 20K depending on mileage and condition. Turbos can start in the mid to high teens in rougher shape, but good cars live in the mid 20Ks, and the best ones can push 40K to near 60K. Motor Trend's market watch angle is basically, twin turbos are the collectible play, and a solid one can fall in the 15K to 30K neighborhood depending on mileage and condition, while rare end-run cars and pristine examples break out way above that. So, if your goal is a budget classic car you can enjoy, the sweet spot is usually a well-kept NA car with records, or a twin turbo that's been maintained, not built, and not abused. Now, how does that compare to other cars in the same budget? If you've got $15,000 to $30,000, you could also look at a C4 Corvette. Hemmings even highlights that by 1996, the 300ZX coupe price was basically right up there with the Corvette space MSRP. The Corvette gives you V8 torque, easier access in some cases, and a very different ownership vibe. You could also look at something like a Toyota MR2 Turbo if you want the import vibe with a different driving feel, or a Mazda RX-7 if you want peak 90s performance, but be honest with yourself, rotary ownership is a commitment. Now, the big question. Is the Z32 a starter classic car? Here's my honest take. It can be, but only for the right person. If you're the kind of buyer who wants a simple car you can wrench on easily with cheap parts and tons of space under the hood, the Z32 is not your best first pick. But if you want a modern-feeling 90s classic, you can pay for real maintenance, and you're willing to shop patiently for a documented example, it can be an awesome, affordable classic car experience. What about classic car investment potential? Twin turbos, especially clean manuals with good history, have strong future collectible energy. The risk is that restoration can cost more than the value if you buy a rough car. So the smartest investment play usually isn't buying cheap, it's buying right. Also worth noting, end-of-run special cars can bring premium attention, but you're paying for rarity, not necessarily a better driving experience. So who should buy it? You should buy a Z32 if you want a legit 90s sports car that looks expensive, feels special, and you're okay with medium to high upkeep. You should not buy a Z32 if you need it to be cheap, simple, and carefree, because deferred maintenance will punish you. So here's the verdict. The 1990-1996 Nissan 300ZX is one of the coolest ways to get real 90s performance in a package that still looks expensive today. The naturally aspirated cars can be a smart entry point, but the twin-turbo is the collectible hero. Just know it comes with more complexity. Timing belt history, turbo health, and overall maintenance are everything. Buy a clean, documented example, and it's an awesome weekend sports car. Buy a neglected one, and it becomes a wallet-draining project. If you enjoyed this classic car buyer guide and you want more picks like this, more classic car under 50K options that normal people can actually buy, make sure you subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is about. Now I want to hear from you. Would you buy a 1990-1996 300ZX in today's market at $15,000 to $30,000? Or would you rather put that money into a C4 Corvette or something else? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to grab the PDF dossier in the pinned comment.